business in hand here at Marlins Park. Edinson Volquez on the mound for the Dominicans to face a U.S. lineup that looks like this, and some changes authored by Jim Leyland today. He's going to put Paul Goldschmidt at the DH spot and bat him sixth, and start Eric Hosmer at first base and bat Hos number 5. Jonathan Lucroy was idled in the opener yesterday. He catches and hits number 8. And Christian Yelich, the hometown hero, the Miami Marlin, gets a start in left field, batting number 3. A terrific decorated starting lineup, and of note, the fact that group collectively, John, has had a lot of success against tonight's DR starter, the veteran right-hander Edinson Volquez.
Yeah, and they're going to need that success because the bullpen of the DR is loaded. So I would think that they would want to make as much happen as they can off of Volquez. Volquez certainly would like to have the command. His issue sometimes, it's not the stuff, it's locating it. He can get wild, he can throw the ball, not over the plate as much as he wants. He's had a ton of walks per 9 in his career, but tonight he ain't thinking about that.
Ian Kinsler ready to settle in and get it started here tonight. A boisterous atmosphere at Marlins Park, and this one's underway. You know, it's a point worth reiterating, John, when you talk about the control issues that have really plagued Volquez for much of his career. He walks an average of 4+ batters per 9 innings. That's the second highest walk rate among active starters. And on a night like this, with the emotions and with the pitch count and all these variables, you don't know how a guy's going to react.
Exactly, and I know that the U.S. team in the scouting report definitely talked about, you mentioned the success they've had against him. But watch his arm action. His arm action gets a little floppy on the backside, and that has to coordinate with his legs. That's why he has the issues that he has. His two-seamer is good enough. 94 with movement. He's got the ability to throw a big knuckle curveball, and then he's got the changeup to go with it. Watch this arm action as he gets ready to throw. Just a little bit of a wiggle and a little motion.
3 balls and no strikes on Ian Kinsler. And after all that, a strike. Kinsler 2 for 5 yesterday in the Americans' win over Colombia. Sawed him off, and a ground ball for Jose Reyes. Volquez comes back off a 3-0 count to get his first out of the night. 1 gone for last night's American hero, Adam Jones. 2 for 5 with 2 runs batted in, including the game winner, the walk-off RBI single in the last of the 10th. Visited with Jim Leyland before the game today, and his nerves were still on edge over what could have been if the U.S. failed to win last night. They would have really been behind the 8 ball tonight against the heavy favorites, the Dominicans. 0-2. Jimmy told us before the game today, boy, I was glad I pumped up Adam Jones to you guys before the game, so it didn't sound like I was front running today. But Jim Leyland is a very big Adam Jones fan. That ball's a 1.5 foot outside, and people are acting like it was right down the middle here. Has anybody sat down yet?
Not the Dominican fans.
Oh, the 2 guys with the John 3:16 wigs have sat down. That's it. The 1-2. And a swing and a miss. 2 gone in the top of the first.
Volquez went with the changeup right there instead of the curveball early on. He's had the fastball and then follows it with that changeup.
So now Christian Yelich being put in the very unlikely position of hearing more noise for the opponent than for the team he plays for. He, after all, a Miami Marlin during the regular season, and a fastball misses high and away.
See, Volquez, sometimes the body and arm doesn't catch up, right? So he gets underneath that two-seamer where it rides up and away against the left-hander. When he's good, it's down in the knees, sinking, and then that changeup and curveball combination make it very difficult.
Yelich hammers a 1-0 pitch into the right field corner. Christian Yelich, who doubled as a pinch hitter yesterday, has his second double of the tournament in only 3 plate appearances.
He can flat out hit. He came off the bench, first pitch he saw, went the other way for a double. Took a 2-seamer over the middle of the plate and absolutely laced it down the right field corner. The Marlins this year, if they stay healthy offensively, they should be pretty good. Of course, Stanton's a big part of that as well.
Here's Nolan Arenado now, the 3-time All-Star and Major League Baseball's RBI leader over the last 2 seasons. He was held hitless last night. Fastball misses high.
He was pretty anxious last night. You could tell how pumped he was to be up there. Of course, unlike any other games he's played, because he has yet, the Rockies have not competed while he's been there in the postseason. This is probably one of the bigger moments for him.
Ball and no strikes. The count to Nolan Arenado. Yelich in scoring position with 2 gone. Popped him up. Castillo yields to Santana. Nothing comes of the 2-out double, and we are officially underway at Marlins Park in a very rowdy atmosphere, folks. It's going to be a lot of fun. Scoreless early. Is 25-year-old Toronto Blue Jays right-hander Marcus Stroman.
Yes, he came back from a knee injury and pitched a couple big games, as we talked about. Sinker at 94, slider at 83, cutter at 87, curveball at 81, and a changeup. Got enough fingers.
Jose Reyes, Manny Machado, and Robinson Cano for the star-studded Dominicans in the last of the first. Reyes 3 for 5 with a double and a stolen base on Thursday. Stroman's 1-1. As we mentioned, Marcus Stroman, the Blue Jays opening day starter last year. He is really decked out in the red, white, and blue. Guy with a recording career, big personality. Two under Reyes, line softly to Kinsler, who does a little snatch catch on that for the first out of the ball game.
Well, for Mr. Stroman, he's got the flair to match the Dominican Republic. And then he's got ultimate confidence. He pitches big. And in the way that he throws his breaking pitches, they are so effective. He has 3 different ones at 3 different speeds. For him to be effective against this incredible lineup for the DR, he's going to need those pitches.
1 out for the 3-time All-Star, Baltimore Oriole third baseman Manny Machado. 2 for 5 in the DR's opening round win over Canada Thursday. And he takes a strike.
Stroman's been working a little bit on a little bit of a pause in his delivery, and you saw it there. He's talking about any way he can mess up the timing of the hitter. There it is.
Machado chops one back up the middle of base hit. That's his 3rd of the tournament so far.
Well, defensively for the U.S. team, the outfield's pretty good with Yelich, Jones, and Stanton. Arenado at 3rd, Crawford, Kinsler, and Hosmer, with Jonathan Lucroy behind the plate.
One out, one on for the 2013 WBC MVP. 7-time All-Star Robinson Cano. Relatively quiet by his own standards on Thursday night, 1 for 4 with a walk. Cano is among the handful of Dominican hitters never to have faced Marcus Stroman. It's quite a contrast in experience for the 2 starters against the lineups they're facing tonight. The U.S. lineup with a lot of experience, a lot of head-to-head against Edinson Volquez. Not so much on the other side. And it's 2 balls and no strikes to Cano.
Cano never in anything that he does looks like he's in a hurry. He rarely is off balance at home plate. You make him look sick once, it's hard to do that twice. Defensively, he's as cool as they come in the field. It's almost as if the game is a little bit slow for him and fast for everybody else.
Machado off first, and the 2-0. It's in for a strike. The plan for Jim Leyland tonight is as much as you can out of Marcus Stroman. That is to a comfortable level. There are pitch counts to be mindful of in this event, and then Tanner Roark. So it's back-to-back starting pitchers. And one of the things that Team USA is hopeful they'll be able to pull off when it's time to make that change is to get Roark into a clean inning. In needing extra innings yesterday to beat Colombia, Jim Leyland had to go a little bit deeper into his bullpen than he would have preferred. He still thinks he's okay tonight, given he's got 2 starters available. But nobody's taking anything for granted in terms of the way things should go and the way things may go. 3-1. And a full count to Cano now.
I would think they would send Machado here with the bat control that Cano has.
Jose Bautista next. There he goes, the 3-2 home to Cano. Put in play for Crawford, who had to change directions to get the out on that ball, and there are 2 gone with a runner at second. Here's Jose Bautista now. A Toronto-themed matchup as 2 Blue Jay teammates square off here with a runner in scoring position and 2 gone.
Serious bragging rights during the year based on the way this tournament goes for these 2 guys.
Somehow, with all the accolades and all the decorated backs and baseball cards we were talking about on Thursday with Team Dominican Republic, the irony was lost on me that it was Jose Bautista single-handedly defeating Canada that night. I mean, he's a hero north of the border. He is one of Canada's sports icons. And he did it to the country that he earns his money in with a huge performance on Thursday night. A 3-run home run, an RBI single. 1 and 2 strikes to him here. Machado at second and 2 gone. Did you get the sense from Tony Pena, and we visited with the Dominican skipper before the game, that he may have had plans to start a different outfield combination for game 2 in this series, but Bautista went crazy on Thursday, and you can't pull him out of the lineup tonight.
Oh.
Wow.
Man. Golly.
Here we go, foul pitch. Breaking ball fouled away. You know, the word that came out of the first game in this doubleheader, this day-night doubleheader affair today between Canada and Colombia, was that the strike zone was very rigid.
Yeah, I don't understand it from a tournament standpoint, especially with all that's going on early on. These guys are not in mid-season form. I would think the last thing you want is to see a ton of pitches and a ton of pitchers. But yes, they've been relatively tight.
The next payoff pitch home, and Bautista pops it up. Hosmer giving it a look and making the catch to leave a runner stranded.
Let's go.
Eric Hosmer, Paul Goldschmidt, and Giancarlo Stanton here in the U.S. half of the second. Welcome back with Hall of Famer John Smoltz and J.P. Morosi, Matt Vasgersian. Each team stranding a two-out base runner in scoring position to start this one. 0-1 to Eric Hosmer is in for a strike.
The first curveball starts up, goes down north-south. It's a good compliment to his sinker because that's the one that works away from the left-handed hitters, and the curveball starts up, and the hitter sometimes gives up on it.
Teammates for a couple of years in Kansas City, achieving a world championship trophy together in 2015. Volk has had a good 2 years in Kansas City, 24-20, huge in the postseason for them. Hosmer with a knockback up the middle. Leadoff hitter aboard to start the second.
Yeah, see, he went change up there and really allowed Hosmer to catch up. His hands back. He takes it up the middle. Two-strike approach. The Royals are really good at taking big hacks until they get 2 strikes and then finding a way to put the ball in play once they get 2 strikes on it.
Jim Leyland found a way to get both of his first basemen into the lineup tonight. He wanted Hosmer out there for sure, and he really wanted Paul Goldschmidt in the lineup tonight. So the 4-time Diamondbacks All-Star DHs in bats number 6. He's had big-time numbers against Volquez through the years. 7 for 14 with a home run, which did not go without the notice of the U.S. skipper.
Well, you can already see, I mean, yesterday's game against the U.S., Quintana pitched one of the best games he's pitched in his career, and he was just spot on. But it would be better for the U.S. to get a lead against this team to create some sense of confidence, as their bullpen is as good as it gets.
Ball and a strike to Goldschmidt.
And in this format, Volquez probably 4 innings would be ideal for Tony Pena, and then it's one hard thrower after another.
With rest.
Yes.
Dominican team with a day off yesterday. They had an 8 a.m. workout for an hour, light stretching, and they called it a wrap. Two and one.
And I'm sure, probably shouldn't say this because I don't know, but being the previous champs, it's the best formula is to have a day and then a day off and then play 2, unlike what U.S. had to do. They didn't play the first day and they got 3 in a row. So both
right.
them.
2 balls and a strike to Paul Goldschmidt. Giancarlo Stanton waiting on deck. We're going to send you back to Heidi in just a moment for another update between Italy and Venezuela. That's been a crazy round. Pool D in Jalisco has been nuts. Italy coming back with 5 in the 9th to knock off host Mexico a couple of nights ago. Puerto Rico mercy ruling Venezuela yesterday. 2 balls and 2 strikes as that fastball caught the corner. There's Stanton waiting on deck, one of the Marlins' hometown heroes, playing in his home yard this week. The 2-2 from Volquez is swung out and missed. Puerto Rico and Italy with wins. Here's Stanton now, who in his opener yesterday was 0 for 3 and was hit by a pitch.
You know, Venditti has an interesting scenario where people would think 65 pitch limit. He's got 2 different arms he can throw from, but it doesn't apply that way. It doesn't work that way.
Did you check on that, or you just?
Yeah, I checked on that. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be like a really weapon.
It's a valid point. I still think that Pat Venditti should be allowed to switch arms mid at bat. It's an advantage. Who else can do that? 0-1 the count to Giancarlo Stanton. Hosmer singled to open the inning. Paul Goldschmidt struck out. You know, we were talking about the command problems for Edinson Volquez earlier tonight. In the first 9 years of his career, he walked 3 or more batters in almost 65% of his starts. That number's come down of late. Since then, he's walked 3 or more batters in just over 40% of his starts. Perhaps still too many, according to some, but a marked improvement from where he was. The big turnaround for him came with his 1-year stint in Pittsburgh. 1 year with Clint Hurdle and Ray Searage. Then he signed the 2-year deal to go to Kansas City. That netted him another 2-year deal to sign with the Marlins, as he did this offseason. And a pitcher who was once thought to be on the decline is now considered among the more reliable in the game. And all this at the age of 33. Stanton with a ground ball to third. Machado to Cano, the double play. Scoreless early on at Marlins Park. We head to the bottom half of the second, where the Dominican Republic sends up Santana, Cruz, and Beltre. 5, 6, 7 batters. It's kind of a modified version of the wave. Once thought a tired 70s affectation of major arena sports, still apparently very much alive. Marcus Stroman back to work. Give up a 1-out single and nothing else in the first.
The movement on his two-seamer is fresh. I mean, it is tremendous tilt downward, just trying to get it commanded in the strike zone. We'll get a lot of ground balls.
1 ball and 1 strike. The count to Carlos Santana, the switch-hitting Cleveland Indian, who was 1 for 5 with a double here on Thursday. Plays him in a shift, overloading the right side. And it's a ball and 2 strikes.
I'm going to say that Arenado has never been that far away from third base before.
I think it's probably a good bet. You know, the Rockies are a pretty sabermetrically inclined team. Maybe there's been an occasion or two where they've had him out in that beer league rover position.
Another good pitch. Man, he is throwing some really good close pitches.
2-2. You know, I'll further your thoughts on the strike zone. I mean, with the pitch counts being as rigid as they are, especially early on here, I think it's really counterproductive to call that soup can sized strike. And a swing and a miss. Guy with great plate discipline, guilty of chasing that time, and the strikeouts recorded for Stroman, his first of the game.
Yeah, out of the zone. That one backed up and actually went the wrong way. This ball's supposed to be a backdoor kind of cutter, and you see it raise up in the zone. When you throw a cutter and you get on the side of it, those are the ones that back up. You got to get your fingers on top, and you got to follow through to create what's called that backdoor strike.
Here's the 4-time All-Star Nelson Cruz, now 1 for 3 with a walk and a run scored on Thursday night against Canada. And that one hits him. And Big Nelson didn't even flinch.
Breaking ball, same thing. Almost threw that one uphill. Didn't get over it. Ball didn't spin, turn left. Trying to sweep this breaking ball and see how it comes out of his hand way too soon. Hitters don't like to get hit, but that's the easier version of it than a 94-mile-an-hour sinker in that area.
1 out, 1 on now for the 4-time All-Star Adrian Beltre. Beltre 1 for 3 with an RBI on Thursday night. A returning to the event after taking a 2009 and 2013 off. He was at this event in 2006, the very first running of the World Baseball Classic. And as we told you on Thursday night, General Manager Moises Alou and Manager Tony Pena held a seat for him on the roster as long as they possibly could. Adrian was a relatively late commit to the team, but he was #1 on the wish list this year. Beltre had a good experience here in 2006, the first running of the WBC, hit 4 home runs. Ball and 2 strikes to him here with 1 out, 1 on.
Well, I'm sure the Rangers are glad that he's healthy and playing.
Swing and a miss. And Stroman gets 2 good patient hitters to chase here. There are 2 gone.
Four-seamer up in the zone. You see the finish. Beltre, knowing as soon as that motion starts, he can't get on top.
So 2 gone with Cruz still at first, and that'll bring up the outstanding Pittsburgh Pirates Starling Marte. He picks on the first pitch. Arenado's got it. So Lucroy retired, and now it's Brandon Crawford. Crawford 1 for 3 yesterday with a run scored. Played outstanding defense yesterday. Made a handful of great plays, one in particular that caught the attention of everybody. We talked to Jim Leland about his shortstop before the game today. And when a salty old codger like Jimmy says you're a ball player, it is the highest of compliments. He loves Brandon Crawford.
Yeah, he does, and he says he can understand why both he and Posey, both on the Giants, both professional ball players as he calls them, why they have the success that they do.
Yeah, I didn't want to open up any wounds with the skipper as Ian Kinsler digs in, but he got a good up close look at Brandon Crawford in 2014 or 2012, that is.
Yeah.
In the Giants World Series blanking, really a dominant run over the Tigers in the Fall Classic that year.
See, if Volquez gets the ball down in that area, it's going to be very difficult for the USA team, because now he can lower the sights of their eyes and start throwing that changeup and curveball off of the height of that fastball.
Ball. A ball and a strike to count to Kinsler. Two gone, bases empty here, top of the third. Wow. Another close take, and it's 2-1.
Both pitchers have
It's off the plate.
Used their pitch count to the best of their advantage so far. Only 31. 34 for Volquez, 31 for Stroman.
Chopper headed up the middle. Cano backhands it, throws to first, and Santana can't make the play on the receiving end. Here's Adam Jones now with a 2-out base runner report.
Sure, Adam Jones would like to center one of those hard hit balls he had yesterday. Try to find a gap and let Kinsler go all the way from first to home.
Christian Yelich waiting on deck. 2 doubles and a walk in his 3 trips to the plate so far. 0-2 pitch to Jones is rocketed into right center field. Marte gliding over. Boy, some miscommunication between he and Cruz, and it rolls all the way to the wall. Kinsler scores. They're going to try it with Jones, and then the late stop sign. Oh, Willie Randolph was giving him that windmill and thinking inside the Parker until the very last moment. The U.S. the first to strike tonight.
Well, he did get a gapper right here. Probably should have been caught, but still hit in a spot where the 2 outfielders come together. Marte being the quicker of the outfielder and the center fielder. Looked like he was going to get it, and then it was in the glove of Cruz, and Marte's body kind of knocked it out of his glove.
No official scoring decision on that yet. It translates into a run with 2 away and a runner at third for Christian Yelich, who early on has been the Americans' best plate presence.
Willie Randolph was doing everything you can to make sure you keep the runner focused on him. Give everything you have, and at the last possible moment when he sees the relay is caught, that's when he can stop Cano. Cano's got his back to him, so you know his first move is going to be throwing it straight home. Plenty of time for Adam Jones to stop and get back.
They're scoring that play as an error to Marte, so no RBI for Jones. Yelich with a flare the other way. That's trouble. That drops in for an RBI knock. Another 2-base hit for Christian Yelich. This one drives in a run. 2-0 USA.
USA hit some balls really hard yesterday. Colombian defenders made some great plays. This time it wasn't hit as hard. Off the end of the bat and found a spot. Yelich with good speed. He makes the halfway turn and waits to see if Bautista could pick this up barehanded. Once he couldn't, he continues on to second. And that much needed lead for the U.S. has got to make them feel a lot better about the situation right now.
How's Christian Yelich doing? 3 doubles and a walk. I mean, and he's seen like 6 pitches. Well, no, that's not true because he walked. All right, he's seen like 8 pitches. There's Nolan Arenado now. Lines right to his counterpart at third, Manny Machado. Not before the U.S. can get on the board for a pair. Wellington Castillo leads things off for the Dominicans, trailing for the first time in this WBC after Team USA puts up a pair in the top of the 3rd. It's Castillo, then the top of the order, Reyes and Machado, against Blue Jays right-hander Marcus Stroman. We'll get a ground ball out to start the last of the third. One to Reyes. Slapped over the mound. Kinsler knows he's got to hurry. Throws offline. Not even the three-time Gold Glover Eric Hosmer could save that play.
Oh,
got him. What are we doing here? Kind of a fuzzy look. I tell you, from that first replay, it looked like Hosmer got the glove on the back.
Yeah,
sure did. Right there, he's out. Shame. Again, there is no challenge, no replay in World Baseball Classic play in the first and second rounds. Replay review is available to assist umpires in regards to plays involving home runs. Those rules change for the final round in Los Angeles, the championship round. Those rules will replicate those of the Major League season. So there was nowhere to appeal that apparent missed call. 1-0 the count to Manny Machado. Perhaps a double play ball. And the missed call amounts to nothing. Crawford to Kinsler to Hosmer. 3 clean innings for Marcus Stroman, retaining a 2-0 U.S. lead. Half of the fourth, and Eric Hosmer leads things off against Edinson Volquez. It was Hosmer who led off the second with the base hit. Was later doubled up. The runs for Team USA came in the third, and as was the case last night, John, 2-out success means all 5 of the runs that the Americans have scored in this series so far, in this pool that is, have come with 2 out in an inning. Hosmer with a chopper to second base. Cano smooth and casual, and there's 1 away. Between innings, J.P. Morosi had a chance to catch up with idled Dominican outfielder Gregory Polanco.
Gregory, how does this atmosphere compare to Estadio Quisqueya in Santo Domingo?
Oh my God, there's something amazing here. You know, like I feel like home. Like I feel like home because like there's too many Dominican here. I'm so happy to, I'm so blessed to be here, and I'm happy enjoying it.
You know Starling Marte so well. How tough of a play was that there in right center field?
Oh, it looked easier than it is because there's a lot of people here. Like you can hear, like it's something like almost like you have to be watching the ball and watching the other player because like you can barely hear the other guy. But that's tough. But that happens, like when you're playing, that's something that will happen.
Okay, muchas gracias.
Gracias a ti.
Paul Goldschmidt with the base hit into left field as Gregory Polanco, who is usually out there in a corner outfield spot with Starling Marte around him, watched all that from the bench. He may or may not play a role as a reserve tonight.
Stanton needs to get a ball up over the zone and see if he can lift one of those moon shots he's famous for here in his home stadium. He's been a little off.
That one bounces away from Castillo, and an easy advance for Paul Goldschmidt. Wild pitch puts a runner in scoring position with 1 away.
Trying to get the ball in. The ball goes down off the plate. Those are the tough ones. When they hit the plate, they skip, and the catcher really doesn't have much of a chance, especially if he's trying to backhand that. Set up in, throw away, that's not doing your catcher any favors.
Stanton bounced into a double play in his first at bat tonight. Lays off a breaking ball. It's 2-0. Volquez at 46 pitches. Again, the hard cap is 65. Tony Peña's plan for this one is as much as he can out of Volquez, and then go to a series of his big, hard-throwing horses to get through 9 innings tonight, the same way he did against Canada on Thursday. And those guys had the luxury of working with a large lead for some of the night.
See, just watching the approach of Stanton, it looks like he's so anxious to get going. Jumping at the ball just a little bit, wanting so bad to get the barrel of the ball. Nothing's been close so far. 3-0, I'd give him the green light.
He takes ball 4. 4-pitch walk issued here in the 4th. Runners at first and second now with 1 away. So now Jonathan Lucroy, a career .285 hitter in his 7 major league campaigns. A chance here with runners at first and second and only 1 gone. Takes strike 1. Lucroy again 10 for 30 in career meetings against Edinson Volquez. They're not scheduled to face one another quite as often this year, with Volquez as a Marlin and Lucroy as a Ranger. By the way, that deal for Lucroy extends only through this season. He'll be on the market at the end of 2017 with a highly coveted skill set.
That's really why the big reason he didn't go to Cleveland in the first place, because there was no guarantee that he would be the catcher this year. Where in Texas he will be the catcher, and he could determine his home fate after he becomes a free agent.
Yeah, that's an important thing to remind folks of. A lot of Clevelanders were kind of snubbed when he said no to that deal. A ball and a strike to count. Lucroy sends the ball out to right center field. This time Marte very demonstrative in calling for it. And that keeps the runners put. There are 2 away.
Well, with this being the new home of Volquez, he picked a good spot. I think this ballpark plays well for the type of pitcher that he is. And the athleticism in the outfield for the Marlins should bode well for Edison. He went from one big ballpark in Kansas City to a big ballpark here. You see the pitch count at 51. Could squeeze out one more inning possibly if he gets this 3rd out relatively quick.
Brandon Crawford, the batter, again 1 for 3 yesterday, grounded to first back in the 3rd inning. And that one rocketed into right center to get down in front of Marte and score a 3rd run of the ball game. Brandon Crawford wasting no time. That's going to be all for the DR starter tonight. A run on 2 hits and a walk in the inning. The line still partially open on Volquez. Our first pitching change of the night. We'll be right back. Well, the U.S. continuing a theme so far here in Miami of having a lot of success with 2 outs in an inning. They get to Volquez for 2 2-out runs in the 3rd, a 2-out run here in the 4th, and that one knocks him out of the ball game. After 52 pitches, he gives way to the split-fingered fastball specialist, 27-year-old right-hander Hector Neris, who really had a huge year last year in Philadelphia. 102 strikeouts in relief, the 2nd most in franchise history by a Phillies reliever. He's been called the happiest man in baseball by teammates. He'd be a lot happier if he could get out of this jam. He's got Ian Kinsler with a run in and runners at the corners.
Yeah, saw the split finger right there. It doesn't matter if you're right-handed or left-handed. He does like that split finger, and when it's down in his zone, of course, it's great. Gets underneath it, it flattens out. He's got a good fastball, but he primarily will go fastball splitter to get himself out of trouble.
Phillies know they have a good one here. A potential closer in the not too distant future. Another good split. It's 0-2 now. There is that very rare find, something of a revelation. Didn't sign until he was 21 years old. See the two-out success for Team USA that we talked about earlier. Adam Jones waiting on deck for the Americans. And walk-off hit yesterday, coming with 2 out and 2 strikes in the last of the 10. And a swing and a miss. Neris makes quick work of Kinsler. The U.S. does get another run. A run on a pair of hits. There were 2 runners left. A 3-0 lead for the Americans through 3.5. Robinson Cano leads things off for the DR in the last of the 4th inning. 3-0 Americans as Cano rolls over. A ground ball chance for his opposite number. Kinsler gets him. There's 1 away. It's a decorated team. It's a decorated coaching staff on both sides, particularly on the American side, where John Paul Morosi between innings had a chance to visit with U.S. third base coach Willie Randolph.
All right, Willie, you're wearing a very special number in the history of our country. What can you share about your conversations with the Robinson family about wearing number 42?
Well, when they sent out the memo for the numbers, I knew number 30 was David Robinson had that. So looking down the line, I saw 42, and I thought, what better way to honor Jackie on the world stage, World Baseball Classic, in the West number. Got in touch with Sharon Robinson. She said she loved it. It'd be great. So I'm proud, man. It just feels good on me, and I just want to be able to represent. That's just awesome, man.
It's a wonderful story, Willie, and of course in your career, 6 All-Star appearances, 6 World Series championships. But how special is this?
I'm having a blast, David. You know, listen, man, these are the best players in the world. I got the best seat in the house right over there, watching all these outstanding young players. It's really a blessing. I've been blessed my whole career. Good Lord's been good to me, and then again, it's another blessing for me to be able to be on this stage and watch these great young players.
Willie, thanks so much.
All right, my pleasure.
Yeah, Willie Randolph's a returnee to the event. He was very eager to participate again. He was Joe Torre's third base coach in 2013, so he has a bit of an agenda here, wants to accomplish business. Jose Bautista lays off a pitch inside. It's 3-1 now. Blue Jay to Blue Jay here with 1 gone and the base is empty in the 4th.
Stroman has given the U.S. everything that they could have wanted into the 4th inning. He's been crisp. He's only gone to 3 balls a couple times. He has 46 pitches. And if you're going to be able to have success against this team, Jim Leland, he wanted at least 4 out of Stroman and then turn it over to another starter. Maybe he could eat up 4 more innings and then Andrew Miller time.
Full count pitch home. The first time Jose Bautista stepped in against Marcus Stroman, there was that kind of acknowledging wink. Hey, que lo que, baby? I know you. For the next 4 minutes, we're not friends, and then we'll be friends again. Still 3 balls and 2 strikes. You got him looking.
He's strutting.
Yeah, he is.
He is strutting and feeling good. This is that tighter. He'll call it a cutter, but that's a slider. he froze his teammate. Really impressed with Archer, Stroman, Quintana.
Here's Carlos Santana now. He was a strikeout victim back in the second inning. One of the three hung by Stroman tonight. You know, Marcus Stroman has always had something to prove, despite his pedigree. First rounder out of Duke in 2012. A place where, by the way, he returned last season to complete his degree. But because he's a shorter pitcher, he's always had that label on him, and it happens in professional baseball in the scouting ranks. That kind of too small tag is really a tough one to shake.
Well, for a smaller guy, he really gets the max out of his body. He utilizes his body as good as anybody, where it takes all the stress and equally distributes it and doesn't just put it on his arm or shoulder.
Three balls and a strike. Nelson Cruz waiting on deck with two out and the base is empty. A full count now, 3-2. Bear in mind, this is still a Dominican lineup that punished the Canada pitching staff to the tune of 9 runs on 15 hits 2 nights ago. And Marcus Stroman has single-handedly kept them in check tonight by giving up just a pair of singles.
Yeah, he's kept the ball down, mixed up his pitch as well, kept him guessing.
Swing and a miss, 4 strikeouts. Marcus Stroman brilliant tonight. Well, John Smoltz, you mentioned it earlier that 3 U.S. runs early on in this game have taken a bit of the wind out of the sails of what was a very loud, energetic Dominican crowd here in Miami at the opening pitch. And so far, they've just been sitting on their hands, kind of waiting for something to get excited about.
They have, and it's been Stroman who has fed off of that, keeping them sitting down. I mean, this is a very proud team and a proud fan base. They really believe and expect them to beat the USA team coming into this, especially after scoring 9 against Canada and USA struggling offensively yesterday.
2 balls and no strikes, the count to Adam Jones. Jones singled in a run back in the 3rd on a play that was originally scored as an error charged to Starling Marte. That decision was later reversed, and they credited Jones with an RBI single. Two balls and a strike to him here. Jones, Yelich, and Arenado. A high infield pop for Carlos Santana. Let's continue talking about Marcus Stroman. It looked like between innings, like you could have kind of flipped a coin as to whether he was coming back out or not. I know, John, you feel like he's going to give us a 5th inning today.
He is. He's going to come back out. I mean, they'd like to not have Roar come in the middle of an inning if possible. They'd like to create a starting, scenario where he warms up and pitches in a clean inning. But just reading the body language and reading maybe a few lips, I think he's going out there for one more inning.
Here's Yelich now. Bounces one up the middle. Reyes was in the perfect spot for him for a quick out number 2. There's Tanner Roark, the Nationals right-hander who by design was going to piggyback the innings left by Stroman tonight. Here's Nolan Arenado. And what a challenge for Jim Leland. I mean, everybody just assumes that it's push button managing when you write down a lineup card made up of all-stars. But with all the constraints that Jimmy has to deal with, given the innings restrictions that the league format dictates, and then the additional pressures put on him by all the clubs whose players are here tonight.
Well, I can tell you this. He wins tonight and he can empty his bench tomorrow, right? I mean, give guys a chance to play tomorrow who haven't played so far. Maybe Josh Harrison plays third base tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or Daniel Murphy plays second. He'll get those guys some reps. Feeling a lot better about knowing he's advancing to San Diego. But as he said, and as Tony Pena has said, everybody who has put on the uniform says, whatever you need me to do, I will do, because we want to win.
Two-1 from Hector Neris. A ground ball sharply hit to short. Reyes has it. And the U.S. goes down 1-2-3 for just the second time tonight. Middle of the night. Team USA on top 3-0. Nelson Cruz leads things off for the Dominicans in the last of the fifth. Back with John Smoltz and J.P. Morosi. Matt Vasgersian and Marcus Stroman has been the big story for Team USA tonight. 4 shutout innings, 4 strikeouts, limiting this high octane lineup to just a pair of singles. Cruz, Beltre, and Marte here in the Dominican half of the fifth. A bouncer for Kinsler and 1 away. Marcus Stroman is an easy guy to root for so many reasons. He's a bit of an outlier. He's shorter than most major league pitchers. He's from the Northeast. In fact, he's the only member of Team USA that hails from cold weather country. And as we mentioned earlier, he went back to school and finished his degree mid-season, J.P. Morosi.
He did, Matt, and it was almost exactly 2 years ago. Stroman suffered what was thought at the time to be a season-ending ACL injury, but now he views that as a blessing in disguise, because during that 2015 season he went back to Duke University, finished his degree in sociology, and even at the end of that year pitched in the playoffs for the Blue Jays. And there you see the photos of last year, last May, Matt. In between starts, he walked as a graduate of Duke University.
Really neat story. He's something of a Renaissance man as well. There he is, channeling his baseball background in cap and gown. He's got a music career. Enjoys what he does. Immensely popular in Canada. He's pretty good defensively too. Wow.
I told you he's got the flair. He looked over to the other dugout. He's got the flair to match what the Dominican Republic can do. They enjoy playing baseball. He enjoys playing baseball. His teammate knows. Watch this right here. Little comebacker. I got you. Look over there. I got you. That's outstanding, and he has been outstanding.
Two gone now for Starling Marte. Yeah, JP, I want to bring you back in on Marte, or rather on Stroman. The fact that he's from cold weather country is a rarity on this roster too.
Well, yes, Matt, and actually his mother, Adlin, is of Puerto Rican descent. So you mentioned he has Latin American heritage too. And Marcus shared with me earlier this week, he said, yes, I can channel that same feeling there against the Dominican Republic in Miami.
He has been terrific tonight. 2 balls and no strikes. The count to Marte.
So I'm assuming his music career and my music career are totally different, opposite spectrums.
I would say it's a safe assumption that he's not trying to corner the market on Polish polka via the
accordion.
The accordion.
Yeah.
Three balls and no strikes. Count to Marte. 3-1 now with Wellington Castillo waiting on deck.
Well, this is an important pitch right here, because after this pitch, he can finish the next batter before it gets to 65 pitches. If he fouls it off or gets a strike, this is his last batter.
With 2 out in the inning, you hope it doesn't matter. Oh boy, now there's something to think about, because Marte singles to left. And here comes Jim Leland. He's going to go get him. Well, the ideal scenario for Team USA was to get Tanner Roark into the game in a clean inning. Marte's 2-out single puts a crimp into that plan. Marcus Stroman leaves to congratulations by his teammates. What a brilliant performance tonight, folks. A standing ovation for the Toronto Blue Jays ace as he leaves Team USA with a 3-0 lead. 2-out runner aboard. First American move to the bullpen, and we'll be right back. Well, as good as Chris Archer was yesterday, and he was really good, Marcus Stroman went deeper tonight. 4 2/3, scattered 3 singles, struck out 4, didn't walk anybody. Only 2 balls hit out of the infield on his watch, and he turns it over to Tanner Roark, who in making 34 appearances last year for the Nationals made only 1 out of the bullpen. He is used to relieving, however. 2015 made about half of his appearances out of the pen. He'll try to stay in control here and not only get Wellington Castillo, but give Jim Leland some additional length toward the 9th inning.
Yeah, he's been so good for the Nationals. You saw the numbers on last year. He's got a good 89-mile-an-hour plus sinker. You saw it right there. And good delivery. 91 on up, and a 4-seamer, and then a 74-mile-an-hour curveball.
2 balls and no strikes to count to Wellington Castillo, who grounded out in his first and only appearance against Stroman tonight.
So basically 4-pitch pitcher, slider, curveball, changeup, sinker. Coming into the game out of the stretch.
Roark is often not included in the conversation about how good the Nationals pitching staff is, and it's a shame, because his ERA last year was the lowest on the staff, and this is a staff that includes Max Scherzer. This is a staff that includes Steven Strasburg, but it was Roark who finished with the best ERA on the staff, 2.83. There goes Marte, and a high fly ball into right field. Stanton finishes, and Roark finishes out the inning. The U.S. shutout in check through 5. 3-0 Americans. Top of the 6th inning. Tony Peña's gone to the bullpen for a second time. Hector Neris was terrific in this one, by the way, and it's the newest Tampa Bay Ray, Jumbo Diaz. He was just claimed on waivers yesterday by the Rays, and he is a biggin.
Yeah, this is not an oxymoron right here. This is pretty accurate. Jumbo Diaz throws 94 to 97 miles an hour. And his slider is not as consistent, but when thrown down, it has a really good late break in 89. But he does fall off, as you can imagine, with that big frame to first base a little bit, and that alters the command.
A ball and a strike to Eric Hosmer. He'll be followed by Paul Goldschmidt and Giancarlo Stanton here. Jumbo Diaz is listed at a rather conservative 6'4", 280. Though throughout his career, 13 seasons in the minors, by the way, his weight has fluctuated, and it has reached a reported 350 pounds at times. 2 balls and a strike to count to Hosmer. So no problem rearing back for a triple-digit velocity as he can. That was a 97-mile-an-hour fastball fouled away. Here's his payoff pitch home, and Hosmer beats a ground ball to first. Nice layout stop by Carlos Santana. Jumbo gets over to cover his position well. One gone for him now for Paul Goldschmidt. We have the official attendance figure in hand for this one, John. The largest crowd ever to see a baseball game at Marlins Park. 37,446. Just terrific support tonight. I mean, this is a Game 7 atmosphere in October. Goldschmidt takes a strike. He has singled and scored tonight.
Well, they're not used. This crowd that is supporting the DR is not used to seeing their bats silenced like this to this point.
Again, the big picture here, if Team USA wins tonight, they have guaranteed a trip to San Diego next week for the next round of the tournament. If the DR can come back and win, they're in really good shape to move on, but they have not clinched yet. Their fate will depend on the outcome of the doubleheader tomorrow.
And you got to think, you know, Colombia is silently rooting for the U.S. if they have a chance to move on. If they beat, this holds up and they beat the Dominican Republic team, Colombia shocks the world and goes to San Diego.
Could you imagine that? They'll have that opportunity if the U.S. can win this one tonight. 3 balls and a strike from Diaz to Goldschmidt. These are 2 large humans squaring off against one another. I'm always reminded of when I see matchups between big guys like this. The current president of the Major League Players Association, Tony Clark, terrific hitter, switch hitter, and a big man at 6'6", 6'7", when he used to square off against Chris Young. This is Giancarlo Stanton, meanwhile, who gaps one into left center field. They're going to try it with Goldschmidt. He'll score 4-0 Americans. Here's Jonathan Lucroy now. Giancarlo Stanton's first base hit of the World Baseball Classic is an RBI double. Back to Goldschmidt's wheels. He stole 33 bases last year for the Diamondbacks, and that was the first time a first baseman had stolen 30 or more in a season since Jeff Bagwell did it back in 1999. To Lucroy is taken for a strike. 4-0 Team USA. And that run scored a moment ago, the first for the Americans, with less than 2 out in an inning. A ball and 2 strikes now to Lucroy.
That's the slider I was talking about. If he gets down and starts over the middle of the plate, you got to respect his velocity.
Jonathan hitless so far tonight. A 1-2 from Diaz. If the U.S. adds on here and the deficit becomes larger for the Dominicans, Tony Pena will be faced with a different set of decisions in preparing for a game tomorrow that's going to mean moving on or not. Lucroy sends a fly ball out to center for Starling Marte. And there are 2 gone. A couple of quick reminders. Follow every pitch of this year's World Baseball Classic live with the MLB.com mobile at-bat app. Stay connected to the game's best players this spring and all season long with radio broadcasts, video highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat today. And join Major League Baseball in the new era as we celebrate opening day on April 3rd. Be sure to wear your caps and share a photo on social media using the hashtag #CapsOn. And tune into all the opening day action on April 3rd on ESPN, MLB Network, and MLB.com. Brandon Crawford, the scheduled batter, and it looks like that's going to be the end of the line for Jumbo Diaz. A pitching change with a run in, a runner aboard, and 2 out here in the 6th. We'll be right back. The new Dominican pitcher is Fernando Abad, who made his WBC debut Thursday by throwing an inning in relief. 31-year-old left-hander acquired by the Red Sox last year from the Twins. Went on to make 18 appearances with Boston. Good overall numbers between the Twins and Red Sox last year.
Yeah, he's got good stuff, and it all boils down to his mechanics staying intact. If he runs away from his body, that affects everything that he throws. But he's got a fastball with quick arm action, change-up, curveball, and a good two-seamer. So every pitcher wants to get in tune with their mechanics at this time in spring training.
Brandon Crawford lays off the first pitch. An RBI single for him tonight. 2 for 5 in a couple of nights of World Baseball Classic play. Brandon Crawford was chosen by the Giants in the 4th round back in 2008. Player number 117 overall. It begs the question, just who exactly was better that year than Brandon Crawford? Who were those 116 players that were thought to be better prospects? Well, some of them were, in fact, I guess. I mean, Buster Posey was chosen number 5 overall by the Giants that year. But we had our editorial staff look up the numbers, and of the 116 players taken in front of Crawford that year, 41 of them are yet to play in the major leagues. Three and one.
Well, the whole process is kind of incredible in how they shake out. Some guys develop late. Some guys use their draft pick as an extra motivation to prove people wrong. And then you get the high-end picks that get extra time and extra chances and don't exactly develop as predicted.
That's hammered into the right field corner. Crawford's having a great time in Miami. An RBI double to make it a 5-0 ball game.
I'm telling you, this guy every year has gotten better at the plate. We all know about his glove and his arm, but he stays in on left-handers. You see how quiet his mechanics, his toe tap, and then of course he hooks it down the line. Had the benefit of the count in his favor. Sat on one pitch, got it. I'm sure the Giants are happy right now seeing him stroking the ball the way he has.
He's in scoring position now for Ian Kinsler, who has singled and scored tonight. 5 runs on 8 hits for Team USA. This is from a lineup that looked half asleep last night, due in large part to how good Jose Quintana was. Boy, but the Americans are alive and well tonight.
It's interesting how it may have worked out for the U.S. team, right? We talked about the day off benefiting the pitchers for the Dominican Republic, but maybe the fact, the timing of getting back in there and that day off may have affected the offense. Who knows? That you got momentum working for the U.S. with that dramatic come from behind and tight game last night, and they are rolling right now. And the plan for Jim Leland couldn't be any better at this point, knowing he has a shortage of relievers.
1-1 the count to Kinsler. That's a quiet U.S. bullpen for the time being. Understandably so. 2-1.
Tanner really only faced one guy, and now he's had a pretty good wait in between innings.
The Dominican Republic has not lost a game in the World Baseball Classic in some time. Tanner Roark continues after recording the final out in the last of the fifth. Here in the bottom of the sixth inning, he gets the top of the Dominican order with the U.S. on top 5-zip. Back with John Smoltz and J.P. Morosi, Matt Vasgersian, and a sold-out crowd. The largest crowd ever to watch a baseball game here at Marlins Park. 37,000 plus on hand tonight. Ah, yes, the strange fish race becomes something of a staple here at Marlins Park. It's a ground ball to first for Eric Hosmer, and Reyes is retired. Did you have a fish in the race today, John?
I did not. I did not. I saw him loafing and then turning it on late.
Billy the Marlin. Been the mascot here in South Florida as long as the Marlins have been in existence. You remember you were still playing when Billy the Marlin, on a skydiving stunt on opening day, lost his head, and it ended up in the backyard of some nice family in Brownsville or Hialeah or something. I mean, it was found and returned to the proper owner. Here's Manny Machado now with one gone and the bases empty. Oh boy. Watch it fly. That's up in big boy territory. Santa Maria. The extended Machado family is here. I think everybody wearing Dominican colors considers themselves a part of the Machado family, but that's his actual family we just showed you. And here's Robinson Cano now.
If that homer would have been a 5-1 lead, you'd have seen a lot more action.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like they're reacting as though that was a game-winning homer.
Well, the crowd is, but the players understand they're down 5-1. The launch angle on that was beautiful, and just a matter of where it was going to come down.
And it's 3 balls and no strikes now on Robinson Cano. Yeah, the crowd's back into it, I would say. Oh, man. 3-1. You only need to read the names on the backs of the jerseys to know that this Dominican lineup can get back in it in a hurry. There's ball 4.
StatCast powered by Amazon Web Service. This is all you need to know. 109 miles an hour, 435 feet. That ball was absolutely crushed. Manny Machado. Sky's the limit for him.
Oh man, is it ever? If you could buy stock in a couple of guys, his would be expensive but worth every bit. Here's Jose Bautista now, 0 for 2 tonight so far. Now he was looking to lift and separate there on the first pitch himself. Bautista hit a 3-run home run here on Thursday, part of a 4 RBI opener for him. You know, the face paint on some of the Dominican fans here, it's got like this kind of Stanley Kubrick vibe. It's a Clockwork Orange meets Rico Cardi. One from Roark. Rollover ground ball foul. Let's take you back to game 1 in this bracket. Bautista. He likes to yank him, right? Most of his home runs to the pull field.
Absolutely. You can't miss inside against him. He is the best in our game at opening up and pulling any pitch inside and keeping it fair.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Carlos Santana, the switch-hitting Cleveland Indian, waits on deck. There is power in this lineup 1 through 9. And a full count now. Full count pitch is fouled away, and Bautista did Roark a favor there, swinging at ball 4. Maybe not. That might have been on the inside corner. You're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe, are you?
Place is going to get really loud if he gets on base. Louder than it is now.
The lineup was quiet. Stands were quiet until the Machado home run re-energized the building. The next 3-2. He lost him on ball 4. First, Robinson Cano at second. And a little earlier than Jim Leland would have liked, he's got David Robertson up in the bullpen. That's one of the 3 U.S. relievers that did not pitch yesterday. Jake McGee and Andrew Miller, the other 2. Santana lays off a ball. Last year, Tanner Roark was able to get a double play ball 28 times, and that was one of the highest totals, the 3rd highest total among all Major League starters.
He's just trying to be a little fine, trying to find that release point. The ball's moving.
There's a strike to make it 1-1, as you saw a moment ago. Some of the flowery offensive numbers around Carlos Santana's 2016 season. He set an Indians franchise record for home runs by a switch hitter last year. Boy, that was center cut, and mercifully for Team USA, Santana was a little early.
Yeah, that's that area I was talking about. He cannot get that ball. It's either got to be at his back foot or jam him. Again, the spin and this ball stays over the plate. Watch where that ball is. That's not a good recipe. You know, later in the season and even later in spring training, that ball is gone.
A ball and 2 strikes to Carlos Santana. You know, that's the thing with this tournament, and we've seen it in Jalisco in Pool D. A team can have a seemingly comfortable lead, and it takes one guy who doesn't quite have his feel down yet. Yeah. And so far, that's been the case for Tanner. And the script flips immediately. Roark still working with a 4-run lead, and even with Santana 2-2. Back up the middle and through, a base hit. Here comes Cano to score, and it's a 5-2 U.S. lead. And now the rather due Nelson Cruz, just 1 for 4 with a single so far in this tournament. A guy who's hit 40 plus for 3 straight years represents the tying run here in the 6th inning.
I would think right here, if Tanner cannot get an out, even if it produces a run, if he doesn't get an out, I think that might be it.
In on the hands, it's 1-1.
Really good pitch. I mean, Jim Leland's trying as best he can to get as much out of Tanner because of the depth issue. I mean, you won't squeeze much more if he gets a hit here out of Tanner.
A ball and a strike. 2-1. But there's little doubt in a different situation without the pitch counts, without the restrictions that the clubs ask for. I mean, he might have already made a move. Leland hoping that Roark can work himself out of this. 2-2 now.
That's a really good cutter. He's gone in with 2 sinkers, just missed off the plate. That one looked like it might go back in, but a little cut action right there. That's all it took. See the knees of Cruz, thinking the ball was in. Real good pitch on a 2-1 count.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Bautista at third, Santana at first with 2 runs in. Fly ball out to right. Stanton on the run. He has to make a waist-high catch for out number 2. Boy, Giancarlo had a long way to go for that ball.
Yeah, you got to respect the power of Cruz. So Stanton was playing back. A huge out. That allows Jim to leave him in there for 1 more at bat and get through this inning. Who knows, maybe even another inning out of Tanner. But good play by Stanton. Get rid of it quick just in case they decide to do something at third base.
Cruz with a couple of words for Adrian Beltre as he leaves him in the batter's box, and here is a guy who is 58 hits shy of 3,000 for his career. He's 1 for 5 so far in World Baseball Classic play and hitless tonight. And the 4-time All-Star takes a strike.
I wouldn't think there's too many at-bats that they've had against Rourke in the National League. Of course, Beltre, Cruz, predominantly in the American League.
And Roark gets in front of Beltre, 0-2. Been a 30-pitch inning for Tanner Roark this inning.
Now, if you're not going in with the sinker, you got to bounce the curveball here with 2 strikes. Okay.
He does bounce it. It's going to allow Santana to advance into scoring position to where a base hit can make this a 1-run game.
Yeah, unfortunately, he didn't bounce it over the center of the plate. It never was close enough for Beltre to even attempt to swing at it. That pitch has been a problem with the feel. And he's been pulling a lot of those, so this has no effect. See how he tries to set up in to try and get him to throw that ball over the middle of the plate, and then unfortunately advance runner.
A ball and 2 strikes to Beltre. Starling Marte waits on deck. He has singled tonight. Roark's 2-2. With 1 out, Machado hit a tape measure home run to left. That set this place ablaze. Cano walked. Bautista walked. Santana singled in a run. And then after Nelson, Cruz flied to right. It remains a 2-2 count to Adrian Beltre. Chopper foul. That's one of those patented Beltre swing to your knees.
That one was a little more defensive because that curveball was much better out of Tanner. You see the curveball there stays in the plate a little bit longer. I don't know. It sure seems like you never want to get beat on a pitch in, but if there's ever a time to bury a cutter in or a fastball in, see if they decide to do that against Beltre.
2-2. Into center field, but right in the tracks of Adam Jones. (5-2) affair, top of the 7th inning, and the DR back to the bullpen. He was the first to work in relief on Thursday. Mets right-hander Hansel Robles takes over in the 7th inning. He'll get Adam Jones, Christian Yelich, and Nolan Arenado for Team USA.
The numbers, high velocity, slider guy. Rears back and lets it fly.
It's been a reliable bullpen option for Terry Collins the last couple of years. He's made a total of 125 appearances between 2015 and 2016. It's got a 1-1 count on Adam Jones, who is hitless tonight. What was initially called an RBI single back in the 3rd was changed to an E7. A ball and 2 strikes to Jones. Yeah, even though the U.S. had to go deep yesterday and use a lot of relievers, it is comforting to know that you have, first of all, Andrew Miller available for the 9th inning tonight. You still got 2 really good setup men in Jake McGee and David Robertson, who is a closer in his own right, available tonight too. Here's a 3-2, and finally Robles is able to get Adam Jones, and it took a big hump up fastball of 96 to put him away. 58 hits shy of 3,000 and one of the brightest stars ever to come from the Dominican Republic. Among Dominican-born players, first in hits, third in doubles, number 6 in home runs. And the Gold Gloves are worthy of mention too. 5 of them tied for the most by Dominican-born players. And formerly, we knew Dominican-born players to be terrific defensive shortstops. Alfredo Griffin, who's a member of this coaching staff, one of them. Tony Fernandez. We knew nothing of San Pedro de Macorís other than it produced awesome major league talent. And much more to come. There's Alfredo Griffin. 0-1 to count to Christian Yelich.
Thank you.
Yelich has 3 doubles to his credit in this tournament. 1 came as a pinch hitter yesterday, 2 tonight. He has driven in a run.
I've never seen so much cheese made with those cheese graters they got in the stands.
Making more cheese here than at a Packers game in that. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Christian Yelich. Ground ball sharply hit for Cano, and out number 2. 2 gone now for Nolan Arenado, looking for his first base hit in World Baseball Classic play. He might just have it, and then some. Not quite enough as Jose Bautista is able to grab it just shy of the wall. The U.S. goes up and down, 3 up, 3 down. In the 7th, they're up and stretching in Miami with the Americans still on top 5-2. Starling Marte leads things off for the Dominicans, followed by Wellington Castillo and Jose Reyes. Marte was the final batter to face Marcus Stroman, and his 2-out single prevented Stroman from finishing 5 shutout innings tonight. And that's going to be trouble into the left field corner. Leadoff double opens the home 7th. David Robertson getting hot in the U.S. bullpen as we bring you up to speed with a game summary. The Americans scored 5 unanswered until the 2 in the bottom half of the 6th inning by the Dominicans, keyed by the Machado home run. And then an RBI single by Carlos Santana. Marcus Stroman was brilliant tonight. Struck out 4, did not allow a run in 4 2/3. And we're going to have a pitching change. That's going to be all for Tanner Roark as David Robertson is summoned here in the 7th. Just the 2nd change of the night for the American staff. We'll be right back. Trying to strand a leadoff double. Starling Marte knocked both pitchers so far out of this game. He was the last to face Stroman, the last to face Roark. Wellington Castillo the batter now.
Robertson, everything he throws pretty much cuts. He's got a knuckle curveball and then a cutter. That's a gift from Mariano Rivera, I'm sure.
Big years with the Yankees. He was a World Series champ in New York in 2009, an All-Star as a Yankee in 2011. Entering the 3rd of a 4-year deal as a Chicago White Sox in 2017. A ball and a strike to Castillo.
He's got the cut spin, but it's not taking a left turn. It's actually backing up a little bit and going down. When he's at his best against a right-hander, you'll see him start over the middle of the plate and cut that ball away. You see his numbers on his career. 118 saves.
Two balls and two strikes. Here's the next 2-2. And Castillo lifts a drive to left field. That could be trouble. Yelich is back. It's off the base of the wall. Here comes Marte. It's a two-run ball game.
But right now, Robertson and the U.S. is trying to slow down a team and a crowd that started out like this before the game started.
Here's Jose Reyes now. Reyes is off to a great start in the tournament, 4 for 8. The U.S. still has a 2-run lead, but my oh my has the momentum changed. 1-1.
I would think, besides trying to get a hit, I would think Jose would do everything he can to hook this ball and at least get the runner at third if he doesn't get that base hit.
He does hook it. Hosmer picked up a little bit, knocks it down, still gets it over to Robertson covering. I think Eric might have been trying to get a look at Castillo. It's a terrific story on the Players Tribune written by Manny about his decision to play in this tournament and represent the Dominican Republic. His grandfather, who passed away before Manny had a chance to start his major league career, was such an influential figure in his baseball life and his upbringing that the decision to play for the Dominican Republic, even though he grew up in Miami, was really made in large part to pay respect to his grandfather. As we've seen, he's got a lot of family here at Marlins Park tonight. A ball and a strike to count to him here with the runner at third, a run in and one away. Popped him up. Tough chance for Lucroy, and he won't have a chance. It's down the stairwell. JP, there are a lot of third basemen in this tournament that could have played for different countries. I know Nolan Arenado could have played for Puerto Rico, and he chose the U.S. Manny Machado could have played for the U.S. or the Dominican Republic, and he chose to play for the DR.
He did, and Rosa Nunez, his mother, is here tonight with Manny's sister, Yasmin. And Manny told me earlier this week that Rosa has been telling him, Manny, I've been waiting for this moment always. Every day I feel like crying knowing that you were going to do this for me and my father.
A ball and two strikes to him here. 2-2 now as Lucroy is able to at least keep an eye on that ball as it drifted away from him.
Lucroy, one of the best, really. He's mechanically sound back there and takes a lot of pride. Blocking the ball, getting his chest out parallel over to knock it straight down. When you, that's the way you do. You smother it. He gave us a little demo in spring training of the Rangers camp, talking us through the process on certain pitches, what he's trying to do to block the ball.
Robertson's 2-2. Just missed with a breaking ball. The next 3-2, the ninth of the at-bat. Bouncer to third for Arenado. Makes a good play and keeps the runner in check. There are two gone.
The one spot, the only spot that doesn't get the run in is the grounder to third. Curveball out of the zone. Manny Machado expanded that zone. knows it.
So now it's Robertson's former Yankee teammate Robinson Cano. Not a lot of head-to-head here. They spent a lot of time together in New York. 1 for 3 as opponents is Cano against Robertson. Cano 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored tonight. On the corner, 0-1. Two. Sam Dyson is up in the U.S. pen, the right-hander on the left of your screen. He threw yesterday, and Jake McGee is up as well, the southpaw. McGee, along with Andrew Miller, the only 2 U.S. pitchers, relievers that is, who have not worked so far in the tournament. Robertson's in the driver's seat now on top 0-2 to Robinson Cano. See Lucroy set up well outside.
Oh.
And they get him looking with that fastball on the corner. Now just a 2-run advantage for Team USA as Eric Hosmer leads things off in the visitors' 8th. He'll face a new pitcher. Alex Colomé appeared in game 1 for the Dominicans back on Thursday night. Their convincing win over Canada. He wasn't really taxed, nor was anybody else in that bullpen. 57 appearances with last year's Rays, a sub-2 ERA. He gets Hosmer, Goldschmidt, and Stanton here in the U.S. 8th. The skipper hurt himself? What's going on? And it fit him for a compression sleeve. But too much left-handed BP. One and 2 to Hosmer. Alex Colomé was a first-time All-Star this year. Last year, that is, 2016. 37 saves, a top 5 total.
He's got great stuff. I mean, the Rays basically say every 2 years we just get a new closer. We'll just shuffle the deck and find somebody to lock it down.
Yeah, they've been able to make that work. Ball. 2-2 from Fernando Rodney to little Grant Balfour mixed in there. They've got a pretty good one here in this film. He was as good as anybody the first half of the season. He was 21 for his first 21. It was a new Tampa record, and it's a full count now, 3-2.
I'm just guessing here, but I think Jim's going to try to steal an out from Robertson, and maybe have Miller close it out with 5 outs.
Really?
Yep. I'm guessing.
I mean, that's like a World Series strategy. I feel like I'm back in October. As Hosmer takes a ball. Of course, a couple of runs here might change things.
Yeah, well, earlier in the Cano at bat, this is what I think he was more disappointed with, the first pitch and not the last pitch. That sets the tone of the bat. That one's away. Now he chases another curveball down, and now he's in a hole 0-2 and a perfect, I mean perfect cutter, best of the night. And at some point he's like, first one is the one that could have had back.
There's Paul Goldschmidt now. Leadoff hitter aboard after Hosmer drew the walk. Goldschmidt is 1 for 2 tonight. He scored a couple of runs. Ground ball for Reyes to Cano. The relay not in time. As we documented earlier, Goldschmidt runs very well. Pool D is active in Jalisco. We had the highlights early of Italy and Venezuela, and the nightcaps going as well. Let's send it back to Heidi Watney at the MLB Network studios with an update on that one. Heidi.
Man, did that get over that signage out there? I didn't even see the pelota. Man alive.
Here's Giancarlo Stanton now with 1 out and 1 on. Mexico's in trouble. Well, they were kind of a sneaky pick for some to move on in the tournament. Had a 5-run lead going to the bottom of the 9th inning against Italy and gave it up.
That's unbelievable.
Trailing early tonight. Throwing to first, not going to catch Goldschmidt.
Not only did they give it up, they didn't get an out.
Oh, is that so?
Not an out.
Two balls and no strikes from Alex Colomé to Giancarlo Stanton. Talking about Rays closers, Tampa Bay's had pretty good success with Dominican-born Rays closers. I mentioned Fernando Rodney earlier. Had good success with Dominican-born players. The king of placatas, the great Carlos Pena, former American League home run champ, also a proud native of the Dominican Republic. Do they have the rally placata down there? Is it in the dugout?
It's got to be.
3 balls and no strikes to count to Giancarlo Stanton. 3-1. But Team Israel has their mascot with them all the time. The mensch on the bench. I don't think you needed to get any clearance to have the mascot down there when it's an inanimate figure. Oh, there's a kind of a rally plantain, if you will. Full count now. Jonathan Lucroy waits on deck. The U.S. would love nothing more than to add to its 2-run advantage. Full count to Stanton. Shattered bat kindling for Reyes to Cano. The double play. To the last of the 8th, still a 5-3 U.S. lead. Now the U.S. is 6 outs away from punching their ticket to San Diego and moving on in the tournament. However, the Dominicans here in the 8th offer some pretty strong resistance against new pitcher Andrew Miller, Jose Bautista, Carlos Santana, and Nelson Cruz.
Well, I thought 5 outs. Now looks like 6 outs. At least that's what it looks like.
A ball and 2 strikes to Bautista. Miller was simply brilliant last year in split duty between the Yankees and Indians, so large part of the Indians' success in the postseason. With all due respect to Aroldis Chapman and the other super relievers pitching in the postseason last year, Miller was perhaps the biggest bullpen weapon, and that one hits Bautista. That's going to bring the tying run to the plate.
Well, trying to bury that slider, and he did. He buried it, but off the shin. And Bautista knows that a runner on brings the tying run back to home plate.
Carlos Santana tonight, Miller's Indians teammate, 0 for 2 with an RBI single. Struck out twice against Marcus Stroman. And the first offering for Miller misses inside. Back up the middle. Kinsler knocks it down. Flips to Crawford, but it's not in time. And the fire's getting hot.
Well, this is right up the middle. Kinsler makes some great play just to keep it in the infield, prevent him from going first to third. Right now, it is getting a little tight again. The USA dugout.
Santana's being lifted for a pinch runner. And it's Mel Rojas Jr. who will be used off the bench to run. Andrew Miller's going to have some work to do to try to get out of this without allowing a run. Nelson Cruz will be the batter. 0 for 2. He's been hit by a pitch tonight. Sam Dyson's up in the U.S. bullpen. This is in case Miller continues to wobble here. He has yet to record an out, a hit batsman, and a base hit. And here's Cruz.
That slider is so good that he could throw 3 of those in 3 different places. It's got such late break, and it starts off the plate to a right-hander. The one that he gets a lot of swings are the ones at the back foot of a right-hander where they just can't recognize the spin. That one.
0-2.
And that's what he was trying to do with Bautista. He just pulled it a little too quickly. This pitch right here, at home you're going, why does the guy swing at it? But you got to respect 95, 94 fastball, the angle and arc in which he throws it.
Bautista scampering back to the bag. You know, Jose Bautista saw firsthand what Andrew Miller could mean to a series in the ALCS last year. Miller almost single-handedly slayed the Blue Jays. Nelson Cruz, well hit to left. That one's got a chance, and it's gone!
Well, he threw him a slider, didn't get it down enough. Great hitting by Cruz.
And now Adrian Beltre, for the first time tonight, the Dominicans have the lead. 6 unanswered. Wow. Yes, it can happen that fast against this lineup. My goodness. Not since they tore down the old Orange Bowl has there been this kind of noise on this parcel of land here in Miami. And Adrian Beltre strikes out. Yeah, what do you think? By about 3 feet?
Yeah. He's that kind of strong.
Starling Marte now. That one to the opposite field and really well hit. And gone! If you're watching at home and you put your head down to pick up some change in the sofa cushions, bang, placata, placata. 3-run home run. Oppo solo shot. And the U.S. trails by 2. You know, you hear it said in baseball and around the Pirates, they talk about it a lot, how strong Starling Marte's hands are. That was no cheapie to the opposite field, folks. I might be more impressed by this home run than anyone we've seen in the tournament.
He knew it too. I mean, you could tell as soon as he made contact that he felt that was good. The bullpen was going crazy. Right now, this whole stadium, our booth is shaking.
Andrew Miller has been a big league reliever for 5 years and had given up 2 home runs in a game 1 time. It happens to him tonight. And if you want to think back to the postseason now for Andrew Miller, scary trend. The last 3 appearances that he's made in a major league stadium, he's given up a home run. Game 4 of the World Series, game 7 of the World Series, and tonight. A 5-0 lead gone. When the U.S. bats in the top of the 9th inning, in a last licks situation, they'll have Lucroy, Crawford, and Kinsler, and a full complement of bench available. Tony Pena told us that Jerry's Familia is going to be his closer. You're looking at a save situation here unless more is to come offensively as Wellington Castillo strikes out. And there are 2 gone.
Well, this inning started with 2 strikes on Bautista and then a hit batsman. And then 2 strikes on Cruz and a home run. That's how quickly it changed.
It's going to be all for Miller. A pitching change with 2 out in the 8th, and we'll be right back. This kind of damage, we knew that when it was 5-0. We know that now that it's 7-5. It happened in a hurry.
It did. That's the second team today to blow a 5-run lead.
That's right.
Italy blew a 5-run lead. Venezuela came back and won in extra innings. Right now, U.S. is probably in a little bit of shock because I don't think anybody saw this coming when Miller came into the game. But this whole feeling tonight from the crowd and really even from the bench, once it got started, the momentum, hysteria.
A ball and a strike to count from the new U.S. pitcher Jake McGee to top of the order hitter Jose Reyes. McGee just looking to finish out the inning. A ball and 2 strikes. Jose Bautista led off. He was hit by a pitch. Santana singled. Then Nelson Cruz's 3-run home run. Beltre struck out. Starling Marte hit an impressive opposite field home run that made it 7-5. Wellington Castillo struck out. And now McGee to try to get Reyes and give the U.S. a chance in the top of the 9th. A swing and a miss, and that's where we're headed. The Dominican Republic getting off the mat after trailing 5-0. They've got a 7-5 lead, 3 outs away from a comeback win tonight, and a bunch of changes to post for you. First, it's Jerry's Familia on the mound, the Mets' outstanding right-handed closer, coming off a 51 save season last year, the first ever Dominican-born pitcher with a 50 or more save season. He pitched on Thursday, struck out the lone man he faced, and wrapped up the 9-2 win. The changes behind him. Jose Bautista takes over at first base, something he volunteered to do if needed in the WBC. Mel Rojas Jr. takes over in left field for Bautista. The numbers on Familia, 78 appearances last year. The Mets are unclear as to his availability to start the season this year as he awaits a league decision on a domestic violence case. Jonathan Lucroy the first to face him. Lucroy, Crawford, and Kinsler scheduled for the U.S.
The U.S. got to try to find a way, like the Dominican did, to get on base, to create a chance for the tying run to come to the plate.
Still 0-2 to Jonathan Lucroy.
Everything Familia throws has tremendous late movement. His 2-seamer looks like a split finger, 95 miles an hour. He rarely throws his slider. He pretty much will throw a high percentage of 2-seamers. He's got a split.
Lucroy with a drive to the opposite field that Cruz handles. He was positioned well. And the U.S. is down to their final 2 outs. You know, we talked earlier, John, about if the U.S. was able to win this game, and that looked pretty good when it was 5-0. The fact that tomorrow wouldn't mean anything for the American squad. They'd be going to San Diego regardless of what happened tomorrow.
Yeah, now all eyes will be on that first game because I would think the U.S. is pretty much rooting for the DR to win that game against Colombia, because then regardless of what happens in the second game, let's say Canada beats the U.S., they would still be in it. Rounds
short, 2 away. Yeah, it's really going to be interesting tomorrow, however, if this score holds, and then if Colombia can somehow slay this giant tomorrow in the first in the doubleheader.
The U.S. would have to win to play in.
To force a tiebreaker game. Oh, boy.
Well, they knew two wins would do it, so still the mindset.
Ian Kinsler's the last chance for the U.S. tonight. 1 for 4 tonight, 3 for 9 so far in the tournament. Oh, man. Cuidado. That one almost hit him. Ball with no strikes to Kinsler. These guys are going to go berserk when the final out's recorded here. If they can get to that point. Kinsler trying to prove otherwise. 2 balls and no strikes. It's all going so well through 6 innings tonight, through 5 at least. The U.S. chipping away against the starter. 2 more runs in the top half of the 6th. But the Machado home run really changed the momentum in the bottom of that inning. 2-1. The U.S. is down to their final strike. I'll tell you, nobody that showed up for this tournament has gotten here fat or slow. Guys are in mid-season form. I mean, here's Familia throwing 98 miles an hour. Machado hitting 470-foot bombs. That'll do it. It caps off an amazing comeback for Team Dominican Republic. After the Dominican Republic squad knocks off the Americans tonight, coming back from a 5-0 deficit, the DR improves to 2-0. They still haven't lost a World Baseball Classic game since 2009.
Like, comparte y suscríbete a nuestro canal de YouTube, WBC Dominican Republic.